Last night, we learned from our colleague Barbara McQuaid that if this Miami grand jury is still active, they're potentially looking at new crimes or new defendants or both. Is either option more likely given what we know?
All of the above. Grand juries can continue to investigate and even continue to charge after they've returned one indictment. And so Jack Smith's not done yet. He wants to win this case, and the best way to do that is to talk to every single person at Mar-a-Lago. Reportedly, he's interviewed every Secret Service agent already, and he's apparently talking to every single employee. He's trying to do what every good prosecutor does. They want to win their case, and one of the ways they do that is to understand what people will testify, to try to think about what Trump's defense might be, and to isolate any witnesses who might support him, to get their statements in advance. So if they say something different during the trial, Jack Smith can charge them with perjury.
And what about you, Christy? What thoughts do you have about reports the Miami grand jury is still active?
I agree with Paul. It's not surprising that they would continue to investigate. It does not look like his co-defendant is going to cooperate. He hasn't even been arraigned yet. And really, there's a real question there as to why he doesn't even have a lawyer who's filed a notice of appearance for him. And there's some reporting that part of the reason for that is that he is looking for a defense attorney who is not a former prosecutor, which makes it all the more likely that he is not going to flip and cooperate on Donald Trump, and that he actually needs a lawyer who has Trump's blessing, and that his lawyer is going to be paid for by Trump. And Trump wants to delay. There's now been 2 attempts to arraign his co-defendant, and that it has not happened yet. And so it does seem like the delay tactics are already starting. So if you cannot rely on the co-defendant to flip, you're certainly going to continue to investigate, look for other witnesses, look for additional documents to strengthen what is already an incredibly persuasive and compelling case based on the indictment.